you guys.
Yep, and Honkono has been really picking Greymane a lot within the last few series, especially Tempest, the old Tempest style with Dami in the Greymane. Honkono really changing his role into flex. It's been working out pretty decently, but almost every single time going for the Wizened Duelist. That's been costing, even though if you have Tastar on your team, you can still die. And if you understand and know that you're not going to get too much kills if you have a Nubarak Shen on the other side, maybe it's time to maybe shake up the talents a little bit and look for a better sustaining talent instead of going for the kill all the time. I think that's also a very good change that Honkono can do in the later games.
Yeah, I would agree. Um, it just feels like every game is going late game too. I feel like Nazebo is being undervalued and underappreciated right now. So another hero that I think we could see Hong Kong play very well on, but only time will tell. I think they're probably going to prioritize the Greymane, and for today, just based on how we've seen Hong Kong playing, I think he's probably going to keep playing that Wizened Duelist, although I do agree with your sentiment. I think he probably should not be playing it as often, but again, as soon as I get the map update, because I haven't even gotten it texted to me, okay, it is going to be Towers of Doom. This is how you do it. I like this map pick a lot.
That's right, picked by L5. Of course, Tempest going forward that first pick. And this is how you do it.
That's how you do it.
Yes, going for the macro. They got game 3. They know that they won the macro fight for sure against Tempest, and they had the upper hand in the draft. And with the confidence, with the new roster, they are going in with their style. I think reverse sweep can actually happen if they can just continue to snowball their momentum with their macro plays. Even though H82 has been playing very solidly, he's the Haka. Of course, isolation has been punished every single time it was chosen this time. Let's get into Towers of Doom.
Let's see what they decide to prioritize here for delay tactics on the map, because this is a map we've seen a lot of Li Ming. Because of that, Nubarak is going to be highly contested, not necessarily because of his delay tactics, but his beetles will be quite significant for the altars. These are going to be the tools and the tactics used to gain an advantage, gain a macro edge. Abathur will be first picked here. This is a really fast draft, as he is a global, and can also channel the altars on triple altar phases really easily, and on extended team fights can also sneak those, backdoor them if you will.
We saw lots of Abathur with Illidan, Genji, and also Tracer sometimes, especially on this map. Even L5 and MVP Black back in MSB played it several times. So limiting that option out. Going for the Abathur. Now L5 has the chance to actually grab onto Tastar. They can go into, if they want to SD, also very good player on Vala. They can still bring out their old favorite, Vala Trinity.
A lot of thought going into this one by SC himself. And I wonder where the idea lies, because the extra synergy you're going to get with the Vala Ariel and the extra pushing power of the sustain that you get in lane can help you with the bell towers, but doesn't give you really much in terms of delay, whereas Genji will give you a lot. And they've really prioritized Genji much. This will be the third time they pick him in first rotation in this best of 5. And Anubarak has been their pairing with him when left available. Was banned in game 2, but they grabbed it with Abathur for game 3. So stick with what works, the Genji and the Anubarak. They won't have the Abathur this time. And Tempest, they already have lost the Zeratul, or sorry, the Illidan. You have to wonder if they're going to look for the Zeratul. It is going to be Malthael instead.
For a very strong solo lane. And also can be very fast when he's taking, not solo, but with a teammate's help. Take the secret balls. That happens sometimes on me during Hero League in this map, so Malthael again, a top pick. Not really highly prioritized, but whenever it seems like it's more of a situational pick for all teams in Korea right now. We'd also have to take a look into later games of today, watch NA and EU, how they make the team comp around Malthael, but for now, he's one of the top picks for sure.
Just checking. He has been played in all but one game today of the 8. So 7/8's priority, 7 out of 8 involvement. I don't know the percentage on that, it's 80 something I guess, but the ban on Li Ming, we talked about how Li Ming could delay very well here, and That's going to be the choice for L5 for the ban, and for Tempest, they will take away the Tassadar. So scared of whatever else could be supporting this Genji. Kind of an unusual ban, but he can delay quite a bit on the altars. I do feel like this definitely opens up Zeratul potentially for Tempest, but then you have the overlap of Heroes of the Malthael and the Zeratul. That's why they banned the Li Ming instead.
And also Malthael's trait reveals all the stealth heroes too, so maybe that's not the best option they could go for. Greymane, of course, Greymane Tyrael, they're going all in dive here. Very likely to be Rehgar for the finish. Good theme coming out from L5.
So for Tempest, what's the range DPS coming in? With the Abathur Malthael, really strong in the solo lane, you're going to be able to bully up there really easily. But not much else to work with this one. The Abathur not pairing with anything of mobility. Genji would have been great to have with his comp, don't have it. Zeratul would have been great, but can't really pick it because you've already got Malthael. You lose your range DPS if you do that. So they still need a tank as well. I don't know, Tempest draft, this is one of the weaker ones tonight. They had such good drafts in game 1 and 2, but in this game, it's not really synergizing with the Abathur pick. When you pick such a hero that requires massive synergy early on, if you first pick it, you can have problems. We've seen so many times in this league. Time's running out. It's going to be the Tracer Muradin. With no Tassadar to pair with it, Tracer going to be mobile like a Zeratul.
It's doable, but maybe they were a little bit considering about the judgment coming out Tyrael, and also the deflect with Genji from all the auto attacks from Tracer actually hurts her own team. So that's very questionable. Tracer has to make the perfect plays, hitting that pulse bomb every single time, oftentimes on Greymane, because Anubharak and both Tyrael has that spell armor built onto them. It's going to limit a lot of the spell damage.
Well, the Rehgar is the final pick here for L5, no shock. You know, if you ever have something, like, if you ever had something black and made of cardboard and there's a white hole in it because it got bumped up and you could tell it's like, the quality's almost good, but there's like a hole on it, and you like black it over with Sharpie or a magic marker. I feel like that's what this draft is for Tempest. Like, well, we got Abathur, and there's like nothing that's good that we can do that has good mobility. What heroes are ranged and work with Abathur? Like, look through this, like, oh, just put Tracer on it, it'll be fine. I don't really have confidence that this draft coming in for Tempest is going to be the greatest ever. I think the draft is much better for L5. We'll talk about it more as we get into game, as we go into game number 4 on Towers of Doom. In blue, Team L5. Hooligan on Anubharak, SC on Genji, Chang'e on Tyrael, SDE on Greymane, and Swoi on Rehgar.
And in red, Tempest hide on Malfurion, Honkana on Muradin, Lockdown on Abathur, Sign on Tracer, and H82 on Malthael.
Okie dokie.
Even with Abathur on Tracer,
who's your target here? Who are you picking off? Who are you ganking? Who are you harassing with a Tracer? These are the questions that I think will go unanswered in the early game, as Tracer has always been a hero that's looked to farm up Pulse Bomb, harassing, and then look for picks, usually in the solo lane, when the solo laner is losing the matchup, which is never going to be the case with Malthael. HA2 should not ever be losing that matchup, so not even going to be an easy, favorable gank location. And Muradin actually pairs well with Abathur's symbiote as well. Let's not forget, Muradin can be very aggressive, can be sort of gank-oriented. It's Honkono on the Muradin too. They're kind of role swapping him for this, back to his old role, which is also in itself a little bit worrisome, but you could see the idea behind this draft for sure. Failed gank here this time with Honkono rotating up to the mid lane. It's actually Abathur's left in solo. They're going to have Malthael roaming with the 4-man.
See, that's the thing that's scary. There's a pulse bomb, perfect target.
This is how you,
this is the
find
root,
it, yeah.
though. NCC is barely saving Swoi, but Link is enough for the kill.
Gets another good Storm Bolt here. Perfect Storm gaining stacks right now for Honkono.
That looks very easy, but if Rehgar stays on top of everything else after 10, there's a Sanctification, an Ubera can cocoon Tracer anytime. And without Tracer, they're basically, all the damage is removed and they can focus down H82, which is the only damage source, and he's melee, so he has to be close. I think L5 has a very good, strong draft against Tempest right now.
Their Pulse Bomb hits are good though. Swoi overextending twice against actively Pulse Bombed Tracers. You know, I was really impressed with the last exchange where they had the advantage there. This will buy time actually though for another altar here on the neutral. And it looks like L5 is going to get all 3. Tempest will get picks for this, so it's not all lost. But this is actually massive for L5. I think they're going to be okay with losing half an EXP bar to tunk down nearly a third of the core health for this. So perhaps, you know, I was too critical on Swoi there coming in to harass, and he actually basically tricked Tempest, or, you know, if you want to paint it in a positive light, contributed to L5 grabbing those bell towers because he was a big distraction, made it look like maybe they were going to invade, but then they went and grabbed the altars. Tempest doesn't have that much of an EXP lead, doesn't really feel like they gained that much. In fact, they're going to lose that top EXP, and they're going to lose the top neutral camp. So
even though they were soaking a lot of EXP, they're dropped 12 health on their core already. In terms of global, of course, Avatar can sneak in and get the altar, but oftentimes you cannot really do that. And rotation-wise, Tracer can blink around and force quick rotations, but it's L5. They will look for a pick-off. They can literally dive in. There's a kill attempt, but Sign on Tracer looks pretty decent right now.
Yeah, honestly,
though.
like I was pretty critical of the role swap. I was like, well, this is not a good sign usually, but speaking of good signs, Sign looks really good on the Tracer. It's not the first time we've seen him play the hero, and he looks well versed on it, to be honest. The accuracy has been good, and he knew that Deflect was already used there, so the Pulse Bomb couldn't be blocked. So that was actually really good decision-making. Hyde gets the root here, but the cocktail damage is going to be too much. Swoi, will he die for it? No, he will not. In fact, it's going to be the triple here.
Baited perfectly.
Baited so hard. I want to see those jabaiteds, man, when I watch this spot, and that was pretty sick. Swoi gets away.
He knew that was coming perfectly onto him because he was the target several times already. And he survived at the end. That's 3-4-0. That's 2-4-0.
Looks like Swoi was considering not locking in the cleanse there when I was looking at his talent choice, but it looks like he just was so in the heat of the moment, focused on that fight, didn't lock it in immediately. They lost the bell tower, so even though they get both altars this time, it's only going to be the 6. But it puts them that much further ahead. They're now nearly doubling the core health. They can just rotate back to clear this. H82 wants to dive this, though. Already the deflection was used for Genji, so they will protect the bell tower. This is one strong foothold they have on the map to control the macro aspect of it, but it's not going to last forever. And because they didn't get either altar, they didn't gain any advantages from it. All they got is a little bit of extra control over this zone of the map. They can't even look for escorts right now, so...
Yeah, that's the thing. In terms of poking, L5 is very, very weak. When you try to have... That's oftentimes when Leeming comes in power, try to poke the bell towers from the side, far away, but right now, Rehgar Grey Material.
Abathur dies also. Oops. What?
I don't know what happened exactly.
I think he was on the camp too. I'm not really sure why he was there, but I guess we'll just never know. I didn't quite catch exactly the scenario there.
Maybe without the Abathur, there's a fold onto
well, maybe not. Pulse Bomb is really good.
Party good? No, not.
I think the Dampen Magic procced with the Pulse Bomb, so helped to remove a lot of that damage. Anyways, Abathur's back.
Yeah, Abathur's back.
This escort, and the dive is really nice onto SDE. They're making this comp look really well thought out, even though I'm not sure it was. The accuracy from Sign is just too good. And even though this escort will be stopped, they are going to get another kill. They're going to get 10 first. This could be their gateway back into the game. Remember, they have the bell tower advantage currently.
That's right. They do have it, but they cannot take this bell tower. And L5 cannot take this bell tower because they've been putting a lot more resource, and within that time, Tempest has been soaking on top with Malthael and also Abathur. Abathur died for for I don't know what reason, but still. They've been soaking a lot more when they were behind in the level, and it's actually not Judgment, Sanctification.
Haymaker as well.
Oh, that's the old Honkono.
Okay, we're going to see this delayed here from Hyde. The Ancestral will not land, though.
I guess he was stone bolted and CC'd. He was not moving at the time being, and when we saw him, and that's going to be 5 shots going to all 5 core
So
directly.
much extra soaking we've been seeing from Malthael in the mid lane. The Abathur using the symbiotes to get extra soak. The impressive dive. Not even really the target selection, but I feel like the coordination for Tempest, where they're able to focus fire heroes very, very quickly, bring everything onto the table. The Stormbolt goes in. He's got so many stacks on that. You've got the Haymaker, which could have also been how that was interrupted. I'm not entirely sure what happened to that Ancestral, but
it's a little late, and I guess he got Haymakered, and it was enough damage to actually take Genji out. Haymaker actually does tons of damage. I guess it's also a pretty good counter, but hold on to that thought. Sanctification dropped, and not Sword. Valkyrian is already gone.
Yeah, Hyde is dead. There was no ice block here. They're not level 13. This time the Ancestral will hit. There's no ammunition left on this altar, or bell tower, so it's time to get out. Sign's gonna look for the pick on the SC, but he has deflect. The pulse bomb completely negated here.
Barely survived with the chain heal coming out from Redguard too.
Yeah, I say completely negated, but it's actually not completely negated. It was just barely over the threshold. But they will finally regain control of this bell tower, and now L5 has a room to breathe, so to speak, because they've been trapped and stuck down there in the bot lane for so long, and now they can be more flexible, rotate around, and not just be completely locked in.
And here we go, the very first last right HGC ever. It's the first questing heroic also. Let's see if he gets any kills with it.
Definitely doesn't want to be using those on SC, but did, I think, actually just do that. SC had missing health, but not even close to what he needed. Parting Gift used here with the recall from Sign to try to get the kill onto SC. That's on cooldown now, unfortunately. This is a good opportunity for L5. Bell Tower defended. Altar has spawned.
Let's see, very weird heroic choices coming out from Tempest here. Haymaker with last right, let's see.
Okay, Lockdown's going for the clone here on the Murd, and we see this a lot with Abathur play. We're gonna look for the stun here. This could be last rights if he had it. Unfortunately, it's still 35 seconds on cooldown, so Junga may just get out of here alive.
Sanctification available now and dropped at the perfect time. That's the time for turnaround. There's a blade just swinging around, just slashing every one of the members of Tempest right now. Recalled actually.
He recalled back into the fight. Oops. And it's been such a good Tracer play we've been seeing out of Sign this entire game, but that was not the moment. That was not the play. The setup there was way better for L5. They had the Sanctification perfectly timed, and the lack of last rights in that fight was not helpful. The lack of Avatar in that fight, not helpful. Imagine that fight with not even last rights but Tormented Souls, how much better it could have been. If last rights was used on the Junga, he dies 100%. There's these small mistakes by Tempest. They were controlling the game for a brief moment when they had a bell tower advantage, when they could control that and force the fights to be always on their terms in a specific zone. In other longer extended team fights, they can't fight it out, and I think it's a drafting problem, and I think it's a talent build problem, especially for Honkono. It's cool to see the one pick with the Haymaker, but after that, it's like, well, don't you wish you had Avatar?
Yeah, if you had Avatar, and also Torment Soul will give a lot more sustain for H82 in the front line together when they are diving in. Try to counter that with all your heroics, using your Rip to heal yourself alone, and then that way Malfurion can actually give heals to Tracers. So overall, it works so much better. I also have to really question their talent choices here.
Well, I mean, they're going to get a bell tower for the boss, but again, this is just one small advantage. It helped them win fights in the bot lane where they had the amazing pulse bombs coming in. Last rights, try to get the kill there onto Genji that one time, but overall, they trade a bell tower anyways. They're so low on core health that they're on a timer in this game. They basically are not able to make mistakes, period, for the rest of the game. Mistakes equals GG.
Yep.
So, I mean, I really worry for them here, and the things they've prioritized in this game in terms of drafting and objective, I feel have cost them big, and you can see the arguments they're trying to make for it, but
that's right.
The game's not over yet, but Tempest is down a talent tier, down massively on core health. This is one of the more one-sided games you've seen on Towers of Doom.
I also want to watch the replay on the last team fight on the bottom altar. because I believe Sanctification was barely on cooldown by 2-3 seconds, and the entire team of L5 came in to actually save Tyrael. And he dived in the moment he had Sanctification available. That let them turn everything around. If they actually got a kill on the Tyrael, could have been on the other.
Well, look at this focus firing again. This is what I'm talking about. They party bushed it, but it was an Uberok, so Pulse Bomb wasted. They didn't use anything else for that. Looking for the hard engage now, though. Honkono diving in, lockdown. Will be able to clone Honkono once again. We do see the beautiful Sanctification coming in now. The Dragon Blade, and that might just be all she wrote for this one. Hyde is going to be the next to fall. Twilight Dream, a total worthless heroic in this case. Tracer gets taken out. It's the full team wipe. They can grab probably 2 bell towers with this if they split up. They're just going to get the soak to go for 20 instead.
Yeah, they want to soak for 20 and also get one more, because so that the next one they will have, likely they will lose. Even if they lose this bell tower, they can still have 4 shots to end the game. So this time they're going to get 5 shots because they have this advantage after winning the team fight. Cocooning Tracer, as we talked about from the beginning, limiting all the damage from Tempest's side and really making this team fight powerful for L5.
I don't think they'll get the escort off here. Timing, unfortunately, doesn't really work for them, but they could win the game with the boss now, which is exactly what you were saying. So kind of creates lethal for Tempest.
Or just 4 shots when there are multiple altars
sure.
channeling this time.
That also is one way to do it. Tempest has nothing to do but to literally, like I said, play perfectly from here on out. They remove the bell tower. It's all they can really do right now. It feels like they're fighting a slow and painful death, if that makes sense. As it's going to be the push in here to try to grab another altar. It's going to force Tempest to go down. L5 is basically playing Tempest tennis, sending their members up and down, throwing them from one side of the map to the other.
It's gonna be a super hard job for Tempest to come back into this game. All hero back for L5. They have to get picks off. They have to catch Genji or any of the members, especially Swoy, off guard, get the kill, start the team fight in 4v5 situation. I think that's literally the only possible way for them to come back into this game. Even with that, it may actually be super hard when there's a multiple altar spawning next time.
I'm cutting with the blind bolt here, looking for anything they can. L5 is just turtling. They're like, well, if I lose a team fight, maybe you get some altars and I have some trouble. But if we just avoid you, then we win almost by default. We have the talent tier advantage soon, and we have all we need to do is do 1 bell tower or the boss, and we just win the game. So the only way we lose is if you wipe us in a team fight that we don't need to take. We have all the altars. You can't even kill our altars with mercenary caps. So the approach here for L5 is super careful, but when you're on match point in a best of 5 like this, then it's a pretty reasonable approach.
That's right. Two spawning next time, and all L5 needs is just 1 channel. That will be game. So Tempest has to come all in for the defense. Even Avatar may be needed here. Let's see, L5 is defending. There's a Holy Ground.
Okay, Holy Ground not the best. This time Jonga's getting caught. Big dive here from Tempest. SC harassing the backline. Already though, Honkono is down. Sanctification again, really well done. SD didn't need that Ancestral to survive here. Locked down with a late clone. Unfortunately, not going to be very impactful. It's on the Tracer. That's going to be the channel. That's going to be game 5. Swoy is going to send them in. And the reverse sweep becomes more and more likely at each passing game. 1 game left here now. L5 brings it back at a rough start to the series. Had much better drafting in games 3 and 4. Towers of Doom, the right map choice for them. They outdrafted Tempest there as well. And that's all she wrote.
I told you. Reverse sweep is real. And they can make it happen. And very likely we're going to see a very big macro-oriented, I'm guessing, Cursed Hollow, game number 5.
As soon as I saw that draft, you saw me do it. I write all my drafts down on my notebook, and I normally write game 5 when we go to game 5. I'm like, we're going to game 5. I write game 5 in my notebook. As soon as I saw that draft, I wrote game 5 in my notebook because I was like, we are going to game 5. Well, this is going to be our second series of Phase 2 to go to 5th and final game. So definitely the game is not disappointing here. A lot of dynamic changes you can feel from game to game. And I think if L5 wants to close this one out, the easy pick is Cursed Hollow. They've shown better rotations. Their map draft, their drafts for larger maps and more macro-oriented maps has been much better tonight. So that's my vote if I'm L5 as to where to go. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I agree to go to Cursed Hollow. Also, seems like Tempest is having some issues with, well, rip Malthael 100% win rate. Because that was, I believe, the only map that Malthael lost today. And H82 Zero Pool is working out somewhat, but because of Honkono flexing into the DPS role, I think H82 Zero Pool is somewhat limited, I would say, in Tempest style. I think if he brings out his favorite like Zero Tool or some other Kerrigan Infernal Shrine, I think he can, if he is able to really show his powerful moves on his comfort heroes, I think Tempest has the potential to bounce back into the series.
I think the dive-focused play style of Honkono with the Abathur is why they chose him to play Muradin. But you would think that someone who is moving into a DPS role should be well-versed on Malthael. I think Honkono should have been playing Malthael, and HA2 should have been playing Muradin there. So that's worrisome and kind of telltale for how they approach how to draft. It's like, well, you play this hero and you play this hero in this draft, and it might have affected actually how they drafted there. And why they picked Muradin at all, for example, where the Abathur was there. So kind of a weird situation, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt for now, as they are new members of Tempest and the roles are not completely like cemented at this stage. But if we keep seeing problems like this, where I'm watching DPS players play tank and tank players play DPS, then that's when I see the red flags. Even though they looked really solid in their first best of 5, this best of 5 looked strong for them at the beginning, but it seems like they're losing depth as the map pool gets bigger.
Yep, that's exactly what's happening, I think. And L5 is really